metal slammed into my nose. I went flying back, my head hitting the pavement hard. My eyes fluttered open to see the sky, and resting just over my feet, the red sedan, with my nose ring from the license plate. I guess I lost consciousness, because the next thing I remember was waking up, and you can't wake up unless you lose consciousness first. My eyes drifted open to the sweetest looking face. Tears ran down her cheeks as she looked at me, held tenderly on her lap. I smiled, having heard of this before. Women who long their whole lives to meet a man like me. Courageous and powerful. It was probably too much for her poor heart to take. All her dreams come true, now resting on her lap. "Why didn't you wait for me?" she asked, sounding heartbroken. I waved her words away with my paw. I assured her it was nothing more than a bump on the nose, though I had to convince myself it hurt ferociously. Carefully but curtly, she took me from her lap and put me on the ground. "You could have died. Why would you rush into the street so recklessly, and I was right there to stop the crash for you?" She stood up, another tear rolling down her cheek. "You have no faith in me." I jumped up, a little too quickly for my still swirling head, but I managed to keep my balance.
"I do have faith."
I squeaked proudly. I explained how my faith had stopped the car. I waited for her to be impressed. Her brow darkened. "It was my whistle bit." She paused, then shook her head. "Never mind." She started to go, then turned back to me. "I protected you and your friends when you were young. I've always helped squirrels, young and old, across the street. Why are you now throwing your lives away instead of having faith in me?" I didn't want to talk about my friends. Their faith had been weak, but mine was strong. I didn't need her help anymore.
"But I don't need your help anymore."
I squeaked proudly. She sighed, head falling, and started to walk away again. I knew she was just being overprotective. Women are like that about their men. Right now, she was just trying to make a point. She'd come back to me any second. Only she never did. After several minutes, I began to hop away, lost in my own thoughts. I didn't even see the group of squirrels until I almost ran into them. They were young, and they all looked at me with wide eyes, whiskers twitching with curiosity. Then they started speaking.
"That was amazing."
I never seen a car stop for a squirrel.
"What did you say?"
My whiskers rose with a smile. I told them she was impressed by my faith. They were all silent and wide-eyed a moment. Then they started turning to each other, discussing in multiple chattering conversations what they could do to show off their faith. As they dispersed, all went in the direction of the road. I watched proudly. But the crossing guard was still heavy in my mind. Women were hard to understand. She seemed more concerned that I was safe and dependent on her every time I crossed the street. But what kind of man would I be if I let her do everything for me? Didn't she want a man who could be strong and self-sufficient? I told Rutherford this the next time I saw him. He had said I had forgotten we were only squirrels. I told Rutherford he had self-esteem issues. He was too afraid to sacrifice him for the crossing guard's love. Rutherford just asked me if the crossing guard took more delight in my sacrifice or in my obedience.